What's up, internet? It's me, Call, and I'm gonna teach you how to make Puerco Pibil, also known as conchinita pibil, which is an ancient Yucatan dish that I learned from the movie Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Mr. Robert Rodriguez, who is the director, did a little cooking video.
Did you order my pibil?
I saw.
You really must try this because it's Puerco Pibil. It is a slow roasted pork, nothing fancy, just happens to be my favorite. And I order it with a tequila and lime in every dive I go to in this country. And honestly, that is the best it's ever been anywhere. In fact, it's too good. It is so good that when I'm finished with it, I'll pay my check, walk straight into the kitchen, and shoot the cook.
So to make this dish, you're gonna need 2 habanero peppers, 5 tablespoons of annato seeds, 8 allspice, 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, 1 tablespoon of whole black pepper, half a teaspoon of cloves, half a cup of orange juice, half a cup of white vinegar, 8 garlic cloves, 2 tablespoons of salt, 5 lemons, and 1 shot of tequila. You're also going to need 5 pounds of pork butt. And then for our secret ingredients, we're gonna put in some ancho chilies, some guajillo chilies, and some chipotle chilies, which we're going to rehydrate and then blend up with the rest of the stuff that we put into the blender. So first you're going to get a pan, because we're going to toast the spices, because when you toast the spices, it makes the spices, I think, release some oils or something. Either way, it kind of just releases more of the flavor of the spice before you grind it. So we're going to do that. And it's really easy. You just put it on medium heat when you got your spices in the pan, and when you see the heat coming off of the pan, that's when you know that the toasting is done. So you just take it off the stove and take your newly toasted spices and put them into a coffee grinder and grind it up. And make sure you grind this down into a fine dust, because you don't want any hard annato seeds. These things are hard as rocks, those red ones. And the cloves are like sticks. You really want to make sure it's a fine powder, so grind and grind and grind until you know it's a pure powder before you're done. Alright, now we're going to take our secret ingredient. We're going to take out the guajillos and the anchos and the chipotle peppers, and we're going to rehydrate them in some water on low to medium heat. But first we're going to chop off the top and de-seed them, because I was making this dish with the help of my dad. My dad's the chef on camera, and some of my family members really can't handle heat. So we took out the seeds of all the peppers, including the habaneros, and we deveined them so that we made sure it was not too hot, because otherwise they wouldn't have been able to eat it. But if you're making this for yourself and you can handle spice, I highly recommend you keep everything. And then when you're done de-seeding them, you're going to throw them in the pan, and you can toast them up a little bit too, like the spices that we did. Same kind of thing, but then we're going to rehydrate them as well with water and let them soak up some H2O with some onions. And when you feel like the peppers have been rehydrated, take them out, throw some garlic into your blender, throw the now rehydrated peppers into the blender. That fine dust of spice is going into the blender as well. And then we're going to get our half cup of white vinegar. We're going to put that in, and it calls for half a cup of orange juice, but I put a whole cup of orange juice in because why not? And then we're going to put in 1 shot of this chili liqueur instead of the tequila, because in the original recipe they use a shot of tequila, but I found, well, I wanted to try this spicy liqueur, which is this delicious spicy liqueur they use at the Disneyland Star Wars cantina for when they make Bloody Rancors. I looked up the recipe and they use that, and it's really spicy and delicious. So I want to test out that instead of the tequila. Then you're going to put the 5 lemons and you're going to squeeze them, and you're going to add that juice to your orange juice and white vinegar. So do that 5 times. Add that. There's the habanero. We're gonna, again, take out the seeds, take out the veins, because we want to wimp it down so it doesn't make our family members very upset with us at dinner time. And then you're going to take your 2 tablespoons of salt and you're going to add that to the blender along with the juice and the garlic cloves and the peppers and all that good stuff that we added in there. And then when you've got that all put in the blender, just blend it up until it's a nice, delicious, very, very spicy juice. And make sure you really blend it, just like how we really grinded the spices into dust. You really want to blend this into a fine juice as well. Okay. Then you're going to take your 5 pounds of pork butt and you're going to cut them up into about 2-inch cubes. And you want to keep all the fat on this because the fat is what's really going to help the meat cook. And you know, traditionally, and again in the recipe, they have you cook it in the oven for a long time in a pan that's covered in tin foil. But I found that slow cooking it is the best way, at least for me, because it is always the juiciest and the most tender, and it falls apart when you put it in the slow cooker. So that's what we're gonna do. But originally in the Yucatan, they would dig a big hole in the ground and put the meat in the hole and cover it with banana leaves. But we're not going to do that. The banana leaves are cool, I admit, and it makes you look more like a pro. At least it looks more fancy, but honestly, slow cooker is so good. So then when you're done chopping up the pork into 2-inch cubes, the pork butt, you're going to just put all of that into a Ziploc bag. And then when you have secured that, you're going to pour that incredible, spicy, delicious sauce that you just made in the blender and the coffee grinder, and you're going to pour that all over it. And you're going to mix it around a lot. Mix it up, mix it up, mix it up. And then you're going to put it in the fridge. And I would let that marinate for 24 hours. So this is like a high prep meal. It's really easy to make, but you need like some time to prepare it. So make sure you give it 24 hours of marination in the fridge. And then you're going to just dump that into the slow cooker and put it on low to medium heat for 8 hours. And you can turn the heat up a little bit to get the heat going. Maybe put it on medium or high for a couple of hours, but eventually you want to put that on low or medium heat and let it just cook for 8 hours. And you should be getting something that looks like this right here. Super delicious, tender, buttery, fall apart, amazing pork. Now, traditionally you serve this on white rice, but I found the best way to serve this is to put it over corn tortillas. Now, in the slow cooker, we added an onion, or at least pieces of an onion, and pieces of pineapple. If I was making this again, which I'm going to do, I would put like half of the pineapple chunks in the slow cooker, and I would juice the other half of the pineapple and put that into the blender as well. I didn't do that this time, but I will next time. And I regret not having pickled onions to put on top of the pork with the pineapple, because you can just take the pineapple right out of the slow cooker and put it on your corn tortilla with the pork and with the pickled onion. That's what I would do next time. It's what I'm going to do next time. I recommend that. And that green sauce you see is a sauce that my brother taught me how to make. He calls it zip sauce. Let me find what the ingredients are, because I really recommend you put that on the pork because it went so dang well. Just get some basil, some cilantro, some garlic, some lime, some salt, and some olive oil, and just toss that into an immersion blender and blend that up into a salsa, and you'll get that nice green sauce. And just put that on the Puerco Pibil on a toasted corn tortilla with the pickled onion, and I guarantee you, and with some of the slow cooked pineapple, and I guarantee you will really like that, unless of course you hate pineapple, in which case I don't recommend the pineapple parts. But other than that, you should really, really enjoy it. Super delicious. I'm gonna make it again. I love this dish. The only reason why I know about this dish is because of Johnny Depp and Robert Rodriguez's film and the little cooking school video DVD. So I would highly recommend you check out that DVD too. The cooking video, I think it's on YouTube. It's awesome. That's how I learned this. And luckily for me and my family, I didn't make it too well, because we all know Agent Sands would have felt a certain way about that if I did. So I made sure not to make it too good. But I have made this dish many, many times, and this was the best I think I've ever made it because of the chili liqueur, the dried peppers that we rehydrated, and by adding the pineapple and the onions and the zip sauce. It really made it taste better than it's ever tasted before.
Was I right?